After 2 weeks of good rain, most of which fell during the weekend, round 15 was played in wet, slippery and boggy conditions and was no different at Alberton Oval. Port Adelaide coach Mark Clayton was pleased with his side's win in a close contest. However, the Pies had 6 more scoring shots than the Double Blues and the margin could have been a lot more. James Coventry worked hard to get into the Magpies under-18s and his work rate on the weekend showed he's determined to stay there. It was his 5th game for the season and the 17-year-old from Rosewater Football Club was nominated Best on Ground. He played on the wing and up forward. In round 14, James wore a GPS. He ran 16 kilometres during the game. Due to injuries, Brad Coulson has also had a checkered season, but he played well for Port and showed he's getting back to form with his fitness picking up each week. On the weekend, he played as a ruck rover and had 21 disposals. Brad's in the football program at Henley Beach High School. Another player for the Magpies whose stats consistently range in the mid to high 20s is Jayden O'Neill. Jayden's a top-ager who's come through the club's development squads. He played through the centre and uses the ball well. Late in the third quarter, Jack Cooper took a good contested mark from a kick inside 50 from James Coventry. The mark and goal was a turning point in the game for Port Adelaide and put them on their way to a win. For the Double Blues, James Hargraves had another good game and he was named Best on Ground. The 17-year-old from Concordia College had 25 possessions, a team high. He's an accurate kick and effective in his disposal. The first-year on-baller took the ball inside 50 on 8 occasions. Jared Dooney, another first-year player, has come from a rugby background. Jared continues to make his presence known around the ground, kicking 4 goals, 1 for the Double Blues. The talented ruckman had 18 disposals and 32 hit-outs. Reece Miles was the Double Blues' other multiple goal kicker. He also scored 4 goals, 1 for the game. Even with 2 players kicking 4 goals each, Sturt couldn't catch the Magpies. It was a close contest for 4 quarters, but Port Adelaide won by a goal. Down south, with a good 4-goal breeze favouring the southern end of Noarlunga Oval, the Panthers got up over Central District in a low-scoring contest. For the Panthers, Jack Horgan was best on ground and was also named the Maccas Cup MVP for round 15. Jack's from Sacred Heart College and he played in the midfield in his 7th outing for the club. He topped the team's possession tally with 30 disposals, 3 marks and 14 clearances. Jack also kicked a goal midway through the third. With good marking skills at centre half back, Tom Grouch continually repelled entries into the forward line. The 18-year-old was out earlier in the season with an ankle injury. He's played 4 games with the reserves and 6 in the under-18s. Also back from the reserves is 18-year-old Mitchell Parr. Mitch played 10 rounds with the reserves and had a solid run on the weekend for the Panthers. He's from Sacred Heart College, a small inside player who's good at winning the contested ball. Luke Bartlett's from Yankalilla Football Club. Late in the 4th quarter, the 18-year-old took a mark on the half-back flank, which all but won the game for the Panthers. Central were on a roll and had scored the last 2 goals, but the momentum shifted in the game to favour South Adelaide. Joshua Russo was best on ground for Central District. Josh has played in the under-18s for 2 seasons. He had a stat count of 22. He's an accurate kick and effective in his disposal of the ball. In 2011, Patrick White was also playing under-16s, but he shared his time between the 16s and the under-18s. In the past 2 seasons, he's played in both the under-18s and reserves. Patrick was the Bulldogs' highest possession winner with 26 disposals. He also kicked a goal early in the second. The only multiple goal scorer for Central District was Joshua Banks with 4. Josh scored 2 in the second quarter and 2 in the 4th. His last for the match was 13 minutes into the 4th quarter and was a highlight of the game. Unfortunately for Central, last week's winning effort wasn't to be duplicated in round 15. They came back hard in the final quarter, but it was South Adelaide by 8 points. Prospect Oval held up, but the ground was in the worst condition it's been all year. The centre was very boggy, but the rain stayed away for the game, North Adelaide kicking the highest score for the round. Best on ground for the Roosters was Henry Trenorden. The overager from Henley High has been playing in the reserves and the under-18s this season. The star midfielder goes hard at the ball and will push forward up the ground, creating opportunities. Matthew Nye has also been playing half his games with the reserves and the other half in the under-18s. This was his first game back for 5 weeks. On the half-back flank, Matty read the play well and worked hard. Matt's in Year 12 at CBC and will return to college football next week. He was out for the first half of the season, but in his second game back for the Roosters, Callum Wilkie scored 4 goals for the game. The 17-year-old's a strong marking forward who's come up through the junior program at the club. He's developing his game and will be a handy player come finals time. The Tigers worked hard in defence on Saturday and were strong getting the ball into the middle, but struggled to score with no dominant forward to follow through and kick goals. Jed Redden was best on ground for Glenelg. His opponent was North's Mitch Harvey. Jed stayed positive throughout the game and worked in front. His marks were strong and he made good use of the ball. The under-18's from Keith and goes to Sacred Heart College. Charlie Hender, Bryce Woolard and Ben Tate all worked hard through half-back for the Tigers. They backed each other and ran with the ball, taking the game on and attacking from the backline. Glenelg have some work to do up forward. The Roosters took the points with a 64-point margin. In round 15, the Eagles and West Adelaide were playing for the Jake Watson Memorial Trophy. In 2012, it was West who took the trophy, but on Saturday, the Eagles won the right to display it until next year. Jack Ellsworthy was best on ground for the Eagles, putting in another solid performance with 26 disposals. The Eagles had a strong leader up forward in Thomas Whittlesey. Tom led by example with good clean possession of the ball. The under-19 tall forward from Borough had 29 disposals and got the ball inside 57 times. Tom scored a goal halfway through the third quarter. He's also played 8 games in the reserves this season. Also returning from the reserve grade is half-forward Albert Dunstan. Albert's an overager who played for the Eagles in last year's winning grand final. He had 29 disposals and 8 inside 50s, scoring 3 majors. His first, just 2 minutes into the game, was the result of a 50-metre penalty. He scored again 15 minutes later, then got his last in the third quarter. From Emmanuel College is Ethan Haylock. Ethan's in his first year as a half-forward for the Eagles and played his best game on the weekend. He goes in hard at the ball and had 21 possessions and scored a goal late in the fourth quarter. Harry Vick took on the captaincy role for the Bloods because Jai De Silva got a call up to the reserves for the first time. Vick is arguably one of the best midfielders in the competition and racked up a total of 34 disposals, 7 marks and 11 clearances. Another midfielder who made his mark around the ground with 26 disposals is Brett Turner. The 17-year-old is from Flagstaff Football Club. You'd normally find him protecting the backline, but in round 15 Jack Caesars moved up forward for the Bloods. He's played every game this season and the position change suited Jack. He kicked 3 goals. The first was 22 minutes into the game and the second goal followed 2.5 minutes later. Jack's the son of Andrew Caesars. Andrew was a fast bowler in the 1987 Australian World Cup cricket team. Still on a high from winning the under-18 national championships, Sam Durden was a dominant figure in the ruck for West in round 15. The 17-year-old had a total of 25 hit-outs, his twin brother Mark's also in the team. In appalling conditions, the Eagles outscored West in the second half to win by 26 points.